Good morning, members. It is 9:15, Wednesday, October 7th. We see markets are opening about $1 higher currently. We see a fairly obvious pattern here with the 5-minute chart pre-market for SPY with consolidating pattern range, and we should see a break of that in the near future. The same thing happened yesterday before the bell, and we saw a breakout for the bulls. Let me zoom out and I can show you exactly what I mean. Here's pre-market yesterday on the 5-minute chart. Zoomed in, consolidating range, tightening, and then with about 30 minutes before the bell opened, we broke out and headed up to start the day bullish. So similar pattern this morning, and we will see if we break to the upside again, and that's what we're watching for SPY. Key level of 20 period moving average support is 198.80. Need to get my mouse to fix here, and we also have the 100 period support below at 198.19. High of the day yesterday was 198.98. That's going to be a resistance, and we're also watching the 50-day moving average resistance very closely. We will see what that level is right when we open, but I expect it to be tested first thing in the morning. So looking at, there's some tickers I'm going to be watching today. We're watching the usual I's and X, which have been on our list for a few days now. And we got TTPH and SUNY, which have been there for far longer. Some ones that I want to add, I'm looking at AA for a third gap up and for some weakness to show at some point today. And also looking at S, which formed a doji at the top of an uptrend in the face of some resistance. TANH is very oversold. We're going to be stalking that trade for a bounce. ASNA, we're looking for that close above 14, which it keeps getting rejected from. And CLF is also pretty extended to the upside. We'll be looking for perhaps another gap up there and some weakness. So I'll be monitoring those pullback watches on all time frames to see what resistance we're going to hit. And I am thinking that AA is going to pull back, if not today, tomorrow. So we'll be watching that one very closely as it has run very hard the past few days. So SUNY is certainly up big off of the conference call. I believe that's what's making it move up. But regardless, either way, we're going to be looking at the middle Bollinger Band resistance on the daily chart. That is currently 966 and is going to drop down as we open here. So we have the pre-market high of 978, a low down here of 928. So that is our range. We're going to be watching for a break in one direction or the other. 20 period moving average support is 910, and we have seen some resistance. The high of the day yesterday, 923. The day before was about 934, I believe, and pulled back from both of those areas. So getting above and closing above the middle Bollinger Band will be a very positive sign for the bulls of SUNY, but I expect there to be a little bit of trouble in that range. We'll see if we get a little bit of a sell-off and profit taking first thing in the morning here. For SPY, the 50-day moving average, I highly suggest you guys get your charts looking like mine, because if we're on the same page, it makes life a lot easier. That's something that's very easy to look at your chart and see. It's 199.27, and that's going to drop down. GoPro must hold the double bottom at 28.90. If we lose that, there's more downside coming, and I will take it off my watch because there's absolutely no bullish strength if that is the case. Netflix is in that predefined range that we like to see pre-market. 100 period moving average support 107.93, 200 period moving average resistance 108.72. I expect to trade in that range tighter and tighter, and once we see the 200 turn into support or the 100 turn into resistance, that will dictate where we're headed in the morning for Netflix. So SUNY is going to be a hot trader today in both directions. We're going to keep our eye on that very closely, and also I'm going to be monitoring AA, S, and CLF a lot more than usual, of course. So let's see what other tickers are doing. If we're in that trading range on most of them, and we aren't with Facebook here, we're above the 200 period moving average support of 93.03. Let's see where we're at with Apple here, pre-market. Nice bullish day, setting a higher high. We have the 20 period moving average support of 111.86 and a high pre-market of 112.15. Checking out CLF, not a whole lot of pre-market volume. 20 period moving average support is 349. 10 minutes until the open. We've got Guild here at 98.25. Need to check out the daily chart as I am not as familiar with it. That's a new name that we've been watching after the bounce yesterday. 10-day moving average resistance is 99.05. That's going to drop down with the open. 200 period moving average support of 97.75. And we're seeing some nice higher lows being set. Yesterday's low was 95.05 and the high was 98.90. So I want to see a break of 98.90 and ideally a close above the 10-day moving average resistance if you are bullish Guild. Tesla has a bunch of resistance to get through, dropping down. We have a low of 236 and then a higher low of 236.25. 20 period moving average is 236.89. We're currently just above that level. 100 period resistance 238.17, and then finally 200 resistance is 240.24. Looking at the daily chart, it appears we're going to have a little bit of a gap down with Tesla. The low yesterday was 235.58, so not a gap down, but opening near the lower end of the session. We have support on October 2nd was 234.93, and yesterday 235.58, so that's a little bit of a higher low, watching to see if that 235 support level can hold. Amazon has the 200 period moving average support of 541, the 20 period moving average support of 541.39. Looking at the daily chart, we pulled back from that 550 resistance level yesterday. Low of day was 533.33, so trading up pretty significantly higher than that level. The high close on this bounce was 543.68, so if we get a close above 543.68, it will be bullish. And looking like we could consolidate within yesterday's wide trading range. VTL. Not seeing any pre-market action. It's all about the middle Bollinger Band and the 10-day moving average. Middle Bollinger Band on the daily chart. Hold on one second. I entered the wrong ticker. Looking at the daily chart, middle Bollinger Band support is 381. That's a must-hold level. As long as it keeps closing above it, it'll be a good sign. 10-day moving average resistance is 416. Need to see a close above that level. The sooner the better. UGAZ trending up pre-market. 610 is 20 period moving average support. Looking at the daily chart, we had a high yesterday of $6, so we are currently gapping up. The high of the day before was 603, so 10-day moving average resistance is 657. That's going to drop down at the open. That is the key level to close above. I expect that could be tested today if we're already trading at 619. So a nice up day for you guys there. Let's check out what oil's doing. UWTI bouncing off the 100 period moving average support, currently 1334. 20 period moving average is 1343. Let's check out the daily chart. I know oil had a very bullish day yesterday, breaking out above the upper Bollinger Band. The high yesterday was 12.99, so gapping up nicely again today. We have a high back on August 31st of 15.10. That is the resistance level. September 3rd, a high was 13.90, so look for 13.90 resistance. Anytime you're trading above the upper Bollinger Band, keep in mind that consolidation is in the near-term future. Yin 22.53. We have the 20 period moving average support of 22.46. Looking at the daily chart, closed at 20.15 yesterday. We had a high the day before of 21.12, so above that. 50-day moving average resistance was 21.87. We're trading above that as well, and breaking a pretty strong resistance level in the upper $21 range. So above the upper Bollinger Band resistance currently with this 22.53 open, and we'll see if we dip down and bounce off the 50-day moving average support. That would be a sign of strength. That level again is 21.87 currently. RDWR. We have 5 minutes until we open here. Not a whole lot of pre-market volume for RDWR. Checking out the daily chart. Gap down, but a very strong gap down. Opened at 1260 and closed near the high of the day, 1401. High of day resistance 1414, and after that we'll be looking at the lower Bollinger Band resistance, currently 1512, but that is going to drop down significantly as well. TTPH, no pre-market volume. Let's check out the daily chart. Need to hold the $8 support level, which is what we bounced off of the previous 2 days. 10-day moving average resistance is driving the price down, 852 currently. That's going to be lower with the open. Need to close above that, the sooner the better. If we lose 750 support, close below 750 on TTPH, I am going to stop covering it on the watch list that we've been posting with every day. So that's the must-hold level for TTPH is 750. CHK. 915 pre-market, the resistance of the 20 period is 917. 100 period support is 892. Let's check out the daily chart for CHK. 915, let's see, we had some highs of $9. $9 was strong resistance, so breaking that is bullish. It's going to be a gap up and the third gap up, so that's going to warrant some caution. Third gap up, trading near the upper Bollinger Band, currently 922. I would expect some consolidation or a pullback in the near future, but keep your eye on what the upper Bollinger Band opens at this morning. Noting 40,000 shares of volume for hemp here pre-market. Last time we saw 50,000 shares pre-market, it was a fairly heavy selling day, although 5-cent support held, so we'll be watching that level closely and watching to see if that is a pattern to pick up. Pre-market volume indicating selling pressure. So let's check back in with SPY, looking like it's trading at about the range of when we started this webcam, and it is that very tight range, looking for a break above 198.99 or a break below 198.67 to dictate short-term direction. So we've got the open in 3 minutes here. We know Sunni's going to be a hot trader. It's been bouncing all around. Upper wick on this candlestick showing a little bit of profit taking and selling pressure. Need to hold the 928 low of this morning, or we'll see some further consolidation. Could see potentially profit taking first thing in the morning because we are opening up almost $1 higher. And looking like we're going to see a little bit of a sell-off here into the morning bell, which is ringing in less than 2 minutes. AA is going to gap up for the third time in a row, so I'm going to be watching very closely for some pullback. And when it pulls back, it should be a nice trade as it is a popular stock right now. And I expect it to be a nice trader, just like Sunni is. This $8 to $12 stock range certainly gets a lot of attention for being good traders when the popularity is there. So I'm going to pause for a second so we can transition into the open here.